Hey, what's up guys, the Explanation Pros here. Today, I'll explain the horror comedy movie, Dead Sushi. Spoilers incoming! The movie begins by showing us the process of sushi making with someone giving a brief background about it. The voice is Keiko, a daughter of a famous sushi chef. She's in the kitchen, watching her father make his sushi. She doesn't think she's any good with sushi, but agrees that her father has magic hands. Keiko is upset that her father holds the fact that she is a girl against her. She's trying her best to do what he wants, but she can't help the body she was born in. She decides to run away from home. Fortunately, a resort inn, Karinoyu Hotel, approached her and offered her a job. A group from Komatsu Pharmaceutical comes into the resort inn and is welcomed by the hostess and staff. The boss comments that the women are first rate, and if the sushi was too, then he'll have no complaints. Miss Enomoto pipes up and tells him that the sushi is well spoken of by food aficionados, which she made sure of. Keiko appears out of nowhere, covered in food after the mishap with her other colleagues. Yumi, the hostess, reprimands her for showing up late and looking like a mess. Yumi and her husband take Keiko aside and guilt trips her for what she did, making it seem like she wanted to look like a fool in front of the customers. Keiko apologizes again as the couple leaves. Sawada approaches her to let her know that she still has some food on her shoulder, while handing her a towel. She apologizes to him as well, which he brushes off. He tells her to make sure not to do the same mistake again. Sawada makes a joke which Keiko laughs at. He notices her hand and comments that they look perfect to handle a fish. She asks how he knows, and he just answers that he knows out of instinct. The couple arrives at the resort inn with the man complaining about a 20-minute walk and how there's a penalty for it. The woman asks what the penalty is, with the man boldly answering that it's a kiss. After a minute, the woman notices that a bum is watching them kiss, which creeps her out. The man asks the bum what he's eating and finds out that it's sushi. The bum tells him if it's wrong for him to eat it when he found it wasting away. He continues that he'll eat his shrimp, while the couple continues making out, which angers the man. He goes up to beat the bum up, making him spill his sushi. The woman stops the man from hurting the bum further, but it's too late. The bum is upset that the sushi was wasted and out of nowhere pulls out a moving squid and throws it to them. The couple starts running for their lives and splits up with the woman, getting her head cut off. The man tries to come back for the woman but is instead kissed by her decapitated head. The squid flies towards them, stabbing itself through the woman's head to the man's own. The bum appears out of nowhere and ridicules the dead couple by asking if they're enjoying their kiss. Yumi goes to complain to the sushi master of the resort inn, Tuchida, that their customers are too demanding over their sushi. She asks him if he can prepare the dinner early, and he agrees, but they'll be serving ready-made sushi. Yumi tries to argue, but he tells her that they don't seem to have the palate to know the difference between professional sushi and ready-made one. He shuts her up. During dinner, Tuchida comes out on stage to demonstrate his skills. The men all threatened him to make him pay if his sushi is in par with their boss's expectations. Keiko, watching Tuchida's technique, thinks he's sloppy. If her father saw it, he'd be angry. Keiko comments under her breath that their guests are stupid imbeciles, which they hear. The couple who owns the resort inn tells her to apologize at once, and that they will punish her for it. However, Nosaka tells them no need and shares that he feels the same way, which angers the boss even more. Back to Keiko, she finally answers their guests, yelling that none of them knew a thing about sushi. She points at Tsushida and tells him that his skills are third rate. She tells him of her father's technique. Miss Enomoto apologizes to her boss and tries to leave with him, but Keiko announces that she has something to say to them. She calls them fake gourmets. The husband of Yumi fires Keiko out of anger, but Tsuchida says it's not enough and attacks her with his knife. Keiko fights back and knocks Tsuchida out. Their guests are next and are itching to beat her up. Despite the fact that they're many, they're no match for her, and she beats each one. Miss Enomoto goes to chase after Keiko with a knife, while the boss grabs Nosaka's robe and starts to threaten him, but the bum grabs him by the neck and pulls him to the hall. It turns out the bum is Yamada, the former head of the new medicine development department. Yamada talks about working for a serum to revive dead cells 5 years ago. It was successful, but there was a side effect. The serum turned the subject into violent monsters, and if bitten, you become infected. Worried about the repercussions, Yamada was blamed and arrested. Out of nowhere, the husband of Yumi shoots at Yamada, killing him. With his dying breath, he injects a yellow liquid into the squid he's carrying and orders it to avenge him and kill each and every one of them. The squid has infected a fatty tuna sushi. When one of the guests go to pick it up and eat it, the fatty tuna bites back and the blood starts spilling out of the guest's mouth. Even with his bloody mouth, the guest goes to pick up another one, and this time the shrimp sushi. Both the fatty tuna and the shrimp starts attacking the man. The squid finishes infecting the other seafood sushi. Miss Enomoto finally sees the flying sushi. Her tongue gets bitten by the salmon roe sushi. Keiko, on the other hand, is locked in the staff room, unable to leave because of the faulty knob. The egg sushi is locked with her. About to destroy the knob, Sawada comes hopping out of nowhere, gagged and tied. Keiko goes to untie him, and he tells her not to hurt her hands. Sawada tells her that something's wrong and Keiko agrees, sharing the fact that she just saw flying sushi. Sawada shares that he used to be the head chef of the resort inn, but got into a fight with a customer and accidentally stabbed his wife. It's why he became scared of the knife and freaks out when Keiko points out that there are knives close. Trying to escape, the egg sushi finally made itself known to Keiko and Sawada. It shoots acid into Sawada, but luckily he was able to dodge it. He goes to grab the egg sushi and Keiko tries to smash it, but notices the egg sushi shivering in fear. Out of nowhere, the egg sushi starts singing. Keiko takes it and starts gently patting it the way her father does with sushi and points it to the knob so that its acid can unlock it. Tsuchida goes to apologize to their guests, taking the blame for what happened, but the boss disagrees and says that they were all to blame. He promises to work with them to cover up what happened, but requests body sushi with waitresses as compensation. The waitresses refuse, but the boss threatens to talk to the police. Yumi goes to talk to the waitresses, letting them know that the future of the inn is at stake. The guests are devouring the sashimi laid on the waitresses' bodies. One of the waitresses screams, saying that it felt like one of the sashimi bit her. The sashimi comes alive and bites the other waitress. They start devouring both waitresses and blood starts shooting from their bites. Everyone starts freaking out and just watches as the sashimi eats the two. An army of sushi goes after Keiko, but the egg sushi warns her and pushes her aside. They finally make their way to Yumi, Tsuchida, Nosaka, and the rest of the guests. Keiko arrives just in time with a mop and starts fighting back. Nosaka watches in awe. Tsuchida tries to slice the sushi after his eyes are cut, but he only manages to slice his nose off and then his mouth. The boss grabs Nosaka and convinces him to escape and leave everyone behind, including Keiko. As the boss and Nosaka escape, they find Yamada by the arcade. He says that while he was dying, he realizes that his purpose was to see the company fall himself. Yamada accuses Nosaka of masterminding the plan to bring him down. Yamada eats a tuna sushi filled with serum, and the boss tells Nosaka that they need to leave. He agrees and handcuffs the boss. The boss asks Nosaka what he's doing, and he tells him that he's been waiting for the right moment to get rid of him. As Nosaka leaves, the boss turns back to Yamada, who is now reborn as a tuna. The boss goes to hide in a hot bath. As he tries to escape, Yamada finds him and cuts his head off with an axe. Out of nowhere, the men bitten by the sushi starts moving around, acting like zombies. Keiko points out that the sushi penetrated them and is controlling their mind. Sawada tells Keiko that not too far from where they are, there's a barn where they can hide. The group runs as the killer sushi chases after them. They find Nosaka already hiding out in the barn and eating ramen. The sushi zombies arrive and Yumi, who was earlier bitten by the salmon sushi, is turning into one as well. She apologizes to her husband for cheating and says that turning into a sushi zombie is her punishment. Sawada finds a door and closes the entrance, but it's too late. The killer sushi comes pouring in. Sawada is bitten next, and Keiko pulls it off of him. As more killer sushi goes to attack them, Sawada yells that he doesn't want to die, which stops the killer sushi on their tracks and they fall dead. Yamada finally gets to their hiding place and demands that they hand over Nosaka. Keiko refuses, changing into the sushi master uniform, and Sawada finally holds onto a knife successfully. Keiko is using sushi nunchucks that she created by attaching multiple sushi together. Sawada knocked the killer sushi out by screaming and then scraping off the teeth that they develop after mutating and stabbing them dead. After defeating the sushi zombies, Yamada is next. They get into a lengthy fight with Yamada creating a giant sushi roll battleship that will attack Keiko. The egg sushi kisses Keiko and goes off to fight the giant sushi roll battleship for her. As Yamada goes to attack her with his axe, Nosaka shoots him behind with a tranquilizer gun. He tells her that he's not dead and will be turned into a guinea pig for Nosaka's pharmaceutical company. Yamada tells him that it's too soon to celebrate and reveals that some salmon roe had sneaked their way into Nosaka's ramen. His cheek starts bulging, holes popping out, and ramen noodles spilling out of them. Yamada laughs as Nosaka drops dead. Yamada goes to attack Keiko while the original squid sushi attacks Sawada. The egg sushi is still fighting against a giant sushi roll battleship but is getting shot at. Keiko kneels, tired and worn. Yamada starts running towards Keiko. Sawada pulls the squid sushi off and starts butting his head onto it, then biting its tentacle. The egg sushi refuses to give up against the giant sushi roll battleship and starts body slamming it towards Yamada. He gets chained up with the giant sushi roll battleship. Keiko gives Yamada one last kick, which sets him flying towards the sky and exploding into firework. The egg sushi falls dead after its efforts. Keiko tells Sawada that it's done, and Sawada offers her the special sushi he made out of the killer sushi. Keiko returns to her father and apologizes for running away. Her father smiles and forgives her. A killer sushi had hitched a ride on Keiko's shoulders and goes to attack her father, but Keiko intervenes, catches the killer sushi midair, removes its nerves, and turns it into sushi. The movie ends with Keiko announcing that she's the only woman who can make man-eating sushi. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. See you in the next video.